Let's move everything around.
Super Bowl champion, baby.
Here it is. Jimmy Smith, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us after week one. And obviously, we wanted to bring you on for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I know you and Jeff go way back. Cole Jackson, Jimmy Smith, Cole Jackson. But Jimmy, Joe Flacco returns to Baltimore first and foremost. But I think we should probably go in chronological order and get your thoughts on what you watched unfold on Sunday night in Buffalo. Talk about a barn burner.
What I watched implode. Yeah, it was I was in Colorado. I was talking so much trash in the bars too. I'm telling everybody that we're gonna win 31-7. That's the mentality I felt that we were gonna come out and do. When we started generating that way, I thought, hey, it's going exactly how I thought it was gonna go. And then all of a sudden, luckiest plays happen though. I mean, the DBs, they had some mistakes, but they also had some really good plays in there. And then Buffalo kind of just got lucky a little bit with the tip pass and terrible technique by Jair on one play. I think that probably looked like a zero blitz, and he had the middle of the field wide open. But there's a couple of plays like that. I don't think the PI he had was really that bad. I thought that could have been called either way. But overall, got to have some better play out of him. I thought Uzier played pretty well. I know how it is to be a DB coming back. I know Jair hasn't played a lot in the Uzier, so that rotation is good. But I don't know who would have had a hotter hand at that point in the game.
Cole, you want to get in there?
Yeah, no, I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit because, how big of a transition from, your experience being in that room can you see from a guy like a Wouzier and Jari, where they're going to step in and play a major role? Coming into this room week one, it's their first game in a Ravens uniform. How big of a transition is that going to be for those guys?
I mean, we have kind of a simple defense. I don't think it's going to be that huge of a transition, but the way we play football, as far as physicality, getting in people's faces, that's something that's the Ravens' way. So that's something that they have to get used to. And if they're not accustomed to doing that, or if their skill set kind of is a little bit different, they're going to have to kind of get used to getting in people's faces and being a little bit more physical. That's just the brand of football we play.
Jimmy, you and John Harbaugh weren't the best of friends earlier in your career, but you grew to be very close. How does he handle losses like this? Is he a guy that's going to be a yeller during the week? Is he going to make a lot of changes? Is practice going to be different for them this week? How do you think he'll go about bouncing back from this?
I don't think it's like get off the railroad tracks type. He's going to always be, about his business. How Harbaugh's mentality is. You can tell after a loss like that, sometimes it's a worse loss that he'll get more pissed about than a loss like this, if that makes sense. He doesn't want you to come in and be down about it. Like, we already lost. It already sucked. We knew what we could have did. So he's not about to kick your teeth in. But sometimes it'll be something else where we won a game and he kind of comes at us way tougher because we won the game, but we had way more mistakes, if that makes sense. So in this game, it's more like we showed up for 3.5 quarters. So it's not like there's things obviously on defense that we gotta handle. There's a couple things on the offensive line we gotta handle like that. But overall, it's like, man, you could play a heck of a game and fumbled it at the end. So I don't think you can say something to certain players in certain positions, technique and all that, but overall there was a lot of good in that game. I mean, the defense played 85 plays in the first game, and I mean that's tough. And we don't have like you guys said a minute ago, we look a little stiff up front, I would say. Like, we need a little bit more up there. We couldn't contain him, but Josh Allen's known for doing that. So to let him be Superman when it was required to be Superman, I thought was like, oh man, like, come on, like, let's call something that we can corral him. But you call zero blitz and boom, wide open for 80 yards. You don't want, so it's pick your poison kind of in that situation. I bet the coaches are like, it's the players, with the players like it's the coaches. But in that situation, they got, like I said, they just got so lucky with some of those plays. And the call, there was no one call that could have saved them at that point.
Yeah, I think one thing you mentioned earlier that I wanted to pick your brain on, because they had 2 pass interference calls. And, I always struggle watching this kind of as a fan. And even when I go back through it, because the calls around the physicality can be so inconsistent and it changes drive to drive. So from kind of the DB's mindset, how do you manage that? Like, how do you kind of manage the way the refs are calling any given play?
You kind of got to play until they call it, if that makes sense. You know, like you can't go in there timid and shy. We get the scouting report on the refs too. So if they're a team that calls a lot of PI, hey, we're not so try not to be so handsy. But that game wasn't called, I would say equally, because there's just one play sticks out of my head, the one that Rashad Bateman was running down and the guy. I said, well, if we could do that and get away with it, I'd have been all pro every year. I just hold on and run with the guy. That's crazy. But no, it's like they pick and choose when. And I thought when it's a physical back and forth, unless he's pushing on your face, like pulling your helmet down, you have to fight for the ball. And then if you get called, you get called.
Jimmy, you're obviously well steeped in the Ravens' defensive tradition. You were part of a defense that had a goal line stand to win a Super Bowl. How painful is it to watch, knowing what defensive football means to the Ravens, some of these late blown leads? And, they had never lost a game where they scored 40 points before.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. But it was, first initial jerk reaction. Yeah, I was like, I can't believe we did that. But, we know how many games it is. We're the kings of being really good in the regular season. So I'm not like worried that we're going to go out and just lose all these games. I think we're going to be just fine during the season. But I do think that obviously the road goes through Bills and the Chiefs. And until we kind of beat them two dudes, and we almost did, and we should have. But until we handle that and make the right call at the end, as far as all the way up, players and coaches making the best calls at the end of the moments right there to win that game, we're not going to get over that hump.
Going
Jimmy,
back to the playoff. Sorry, go ahead, Bobby.
Let me sneak something in here. Maybe we can shift to Cleveland here in a minute or two. But Jimmy, you mentioned Jair, and obviously you know what that ramp up period is like that he's going through right now, and I'm sure you were breathing down.
Been through that, yeah.
I'm sure you understand that conflict that the organization's in almost when it comes to like protecting the player from himself. And I really got a sense from John's press conferences the last few weeks leading into the season that he was in his ear, meaning like Jair was in he and his staff's ear about making sure that he knows that he wants to be out there. More to come on all this, guys, including your super chats, which we will read, display, and react to right after this from our episode sponsor, and that is the folks at Sleeper.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
All right, you guys know the drill. You heard it there, and you know how it goes with these channels too in the creator space. When you support our brand sponsors, you are supporting this channel's growth. If you use promo code HMA, and you'll get up to $100 match. That's a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. You can see Sleeper's terms of use for details. They're currently operational in over 25 states. You can check out Sleeper today, and again, use our code HMA. Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, for him to play as much as he did, and Jeff, remind me of the snap count. Do you have it off the top of your head?
I forgot what it was. It was
like 39% of the plays.
Yeah, it was like 40% of defensive snaps. Yeah.
I think you know where I'm going with this, Jimmy. Like he played a lot more than I know I was expecting, given that Jeff, leading into last week, he hadn't practiced since the 9th, aside from some off the side of the field conditioning. So, one, knowing that he is not even anywhere close to a year removed from that PCL procedure. Yeah. He had the knee drained the first week of camp. Is it fair to give him grace right now if you're in this fan base thinking to yourself, that's not a former All-Pro that we just watched, but it is one game?
Absolutely. That's really fair. I believe that he will get better. Playing that much, coming off an injury, and I've done it plenty of times. Like, you put yourself out there, and you're already out there. You're in part of the 53. You don't get to take away a spot now. If that makes you have to go play. So whether he was be able to play 85 plays or 10 plays, they should have known that he wasn't all the way ready to go. But at the same time, they had to ramp him up at some point. Yeah. I didn't know. I was kind of really paying attention to that specifically, like who started, how they play it. And then that's why I said, like, at at a certain point when it became really, really crunch time, do you go with the person who's practiced a little bit more just because they're a little bit stronger or they have a little bit better day right now? Or is that, it just happens? But I love the rotation thing, but I do think that, as not playing no preseason and just practicing and then going right into a game like that, that's very difficult for a corner to do.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
reminds me
don't
a
think
little
that
bit
was
of
the
Marlon. Oh,
Yeah, I don't think that was the plan, but the Bills, Bills got behind by 10 or by multi scores, and they knew they were throwing it and they were loading the field. So I guess the Ravens felt like they had to have the DBs out there, and they went with him over an undrafted rookie.
Get in there, Cole.
yeah, a ton of dime defense too, which really pushed corners back onto the football field. But I think we saw this with Marlon Humphrey about a year ago too, a year or two ago when he was working back from injury, and it was the wash talk started pretty early, and then it went away, right? Because he gets back into the swing of things and gets back into it. So I think we got to be a little patient with Alexander to kind of see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he looked like he was chasing a lot, which to me just looked like I'm not out of shape, but like trying to get his legs back underneath him. A lot of times he was chasing, and I've seen him play for. He's much better than what that was. And it was a couple easy plays that they got on him, but yeah, he definitely needed to get his legs underneath him, and missing all that time was not good.
Well, let's get some thoughts on you. Week 2, obviously, kind of a momentous weekend for the Ravens.
Yeah,
30th anniversary celebration. Ozzy's going to be the legend of the game. Cleveland's coming to town. Apparently, they're all pissed, or at least one radio host is all pissed off about how the Ravens chose, even though it's their home opener, the game against Cleveland, to celebrate that, given the history. I'm sure you don't give a shit about that, but related to not just the home opener, not just the first AFC North game, but the fact that it's Joe, and the fact that he's coming back to Baltimore, and that he's still a starter in this league.
Is this his first time back?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Because the Jets game was at the Meadowlands, right?
Yeah, right. I'm
What are you
excited
thinking about it,
honest.
Jimmy?
I'm super excited. Like I said, I watched the whole Browns and Bengals game, and the Browns should have won that game. I thought Joe was out there playing pretty good, dropping some dimes. So if he had some receivers that have some better hands, we'd be singing a different tune right now. But also remember, it's the Browns. Like they've spoiled our party plenty of times before. So they have a good defensive line, and just looking at it, they might just line up Myles Garrett over 77. And that might be the game plan. Like they better figure it out. I mean, I don't know. I'm not scared of any of them, but they got a good enough defense to give us some problems.
I'm terrified of Myles Garrett. So
we just got to I think we sure some stuff, but I think Joe's still flinging it. He looked pretty good that game. So I'm curious and I'm excited to see it. I'm obviously excited to see Joe come back and play, not to win, obviously, but I'm excited to see what they do. But I'm also looking for a rebound there.
Oh,
Jimmy, you know Joe well. The journeyman designation is sort of taken as a negative, but it's really not. He's been around the league a long time, played with a lot of teams. Are you surprised he's still playing all these years later? Because when he was with the Ravens, there was actually legitimate questions about how much he loved football. I mean, that was an early Joe Flacco topic of conversation.
I mean, you probably didn't love being there anymore. Once you draft a first-round quarterback, I don't know. But no, I think Joe, he's an ultra competitor, and the thing is, he has a freaking arm, so he can play for a long time. I think he still, just watching that last game, I was like, hey, he might come in here and give us some issues. If Josh Allen go out and throw 300 yards on us in the fourth quarter, you better watch out.
Yeah. Hey, last one for me, Jimmy, and I'm just curious on this one. I'm certainly not asking for one of the hot takes that we'll clip and get you in trouble within Raven circles that I know you still want to keep intact. But should this thing, meaning the Lamar Harbaugh duo, go south, meaning they don't get to where they want to go, and this disturbing trend of underperformance or blown leads or whatever, early playoff exits continue into January of 2026, do you think that a change at the top could be a necessary evil for this team?
I mean, it happened to the Patriots one time, so you never know. I'm a Harbaugh fan. I think it's by chance a couple of these situations happened. I don't think it's the lack of coaching necessarily why we lost in the playoffs, or somebody could drop the ball or we fumbled it. I don't think that's the lack of coaching, because all John Harbaugh's teams are well coached. So, but yeah, I mean, as a fan, as a person who understands the game, yeah, they're gonna come for his head eventually. I remember, I forgot what year it was. These same questions were bubbling. He ended up getting a 3-year extension. So, yeah, you have a team like this that is going up, putting 40 on the Bills, and you have this team for 3, 4, or 5 years, and you can't getting over the hump. I believe that eventually one day somebody's gonna be like, hey, all right, let's try somewhere new.
Fellas, we feel pretty good. Cole, one more for you.
I'll throw one more out there, because this is something that really only a player can speak to that's played for John, because a lot of the times the conversation around John Harbaugh comes up, and it's always, what does John do? Because they see so many head coaches around the league that call plays on one side of the ball, and that's not really John's thing. He's always let his coordinators do their thing. That's always been his style. So from your perspective playing for him, what's the one thing you thought that he did the best from the player's perspective?
His leadership was tremendous. I mean, no stone is uncovered when it comes down to him. And even though he doesn't coach a position, he coaches every position. He's the coach that will text you immediately, play for, you did this. Like, he knows every single position. But I think coach has always just been a tremendous leader. He knows how to motivate us. He knows how to get us, especially after tough weeks like this, get us back and playing well. And I think he understands of what it takes in the culture and keeping a tight culture that he has there. I think he understands how to bring the right people in and how to get the best out of them.
You
Jimmy,
going to the game Sunday, Jimmy?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And did I see you're going to be – all right, when are you going to be at B-More? When are you going to be at Jimmy's? What's your whole pregame tailgate schedule? Come on, I know you know it.
He's tapping everywhere. There's no kids this weekend, so we're doing it all. I don't think I do the Jimmy Seafood until we go face Kansas City, which I'm excited for that one. And then I think I do B-More around town and for Minnesota, which now, after last night, might be a fun-looking game.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And was it juniors practice that you were wrapping up in? Are you in it all?
Jalen's no. So Little Beans is in New Jersey. He's playing running back and corner. And I thought he was a big kid until I seen these 11, 12-year-olds out here. They're huge. But Jalen, my 7-year-old, is actually big. He plays for Pikesville. He plays DN and tight end. He's scored like 3 touchdowns already. He's doing all right.
I love it. I love it. Well, you enjoy it. Thank you for carving out some time for us, as always. I look forward to seeing you at a tailgate, having a little bit of fun out there. Tell Marcus though, when we're on the air, all right, I just need you and only you, and not him lurking in the background. All right,
Gotcha.
All right, man. Thanks, Jimmy. Enjoy it, brother. Talk to you soon.